Hi, everyone. We're going to get started with the second part of the salon shortly, and I am going to invite the first performers to come into the room. I'll introduce them shortly. So now we're in for bring some energy and spirit back into the room. We have three performers from Assembly here today with us. The first is Puma Camillê, who is performing with Omi Hill and friends. After Puma, we will have a demonstration discussion from Miss Boogie featuring El Joven. Give it up for Miss Boogie and El Joven. And last but certainly not least, we will have Dazié, Rustin, Grego-Sykes. Please get his book in the bookstore if you haven't already. And he will, someone's got a copy already. Thank you for showing that. Yep. And exit through the gift shop. There's lots of great stuff there. And Dazié will be performing with being the digital griot. Without further ado, please help me welcome Puma Camillê to the stage.
Grow. Okay, I wanna see you playing capoeira. Let's grow. Now I need your help. Because capoeira is beautiful to see, but it's better to feel, to participate. In Africa, we don't have stage. Everything is in circle. Capoeira is in circle. It's kind of strange to be at the stage, I didn't say. But I will ask your help. And it's so easy. In capoeira, always the energy comes through the message. The message that we see here. So I will say one global word. Angola is my roots. It's our roots. It's where many of black people arrived in Brazil and made that for us. So, Angola, eh, Angola, eh, Angola. 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 Thank you so much. Capoeira for us is more than move. It's our way to see the life. It's our lifestyle. It's where I learned to be myself. So this is one little presentation, little show that what I have in my heart. So thank you so much. I appreciate Dazié. I appreciate Captcha. And my friends. And more than that, everyone that comes before, behind, beside, the people and my ancestors that come before me. My body is just an instrument for continue send the message. Thank you for being here, and I hope that the message goes far away. In our show always, who wanna join one capoeira game? Who wanna join? I wanna, of course, invite someone. So Rashaad Newsome, can you? Can you get the drum? But we need all energy for that. Because capoeira can be. Capoeira could be body. But more than body, while Rashaad gets the class here in 2 minutes, we will give all energy that we have to give for this moment. So our pole of energy is in our hands, one of those. Hands, here, here. We have few poles that we use for make the energy strong. So we will sing. It's our way to connect to something over here and use our energetic pole for in the same music. But right now you'll be faster, like this. Angola, eh, Angola, eh, Angola, Angola, eh, Angola, eh. Mas minha mãe falava assim. Angola, eh, Angola, eh, Angola. Viva os meus ancestrais. Angola, eh, Angola, eh, Angola. Todo o povo de Angola. Angola, eh, Angola, eh,
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are currently in your day. Good to you. Still my good morning. I am still in a very intense space at the moment, as I am part of the assembly, so I am still engulfed in the experience, and this is my first time being in a reflective state and being able to talk to an audience in this format. So a lot of the assembly has been truly a conversation, but luckily through the assembly, myself and the artists involved have gotten the opportunity to own the space and command the conversation and be in control of the narrative, which is something very seldom for artists like myself and the body that I exist in. So thank you to everyone involved in the assembly. Those of you who have joined the audience in the assembly, thank you for coming. And I hope for those of you who haven't, I hope to see you soon there. It's quite something to feel. I've seen it in pieces, but I can advocate and say that it's more of a feeling. And I hope you all get to enjoy that. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Miss Boogie, and
my name is Joven.
Yeah, so I am a MC rapper from Brooklyn, New York, with Dominican and Colombian roots, and I guess activist by default. My music is embedded in resilience and liberation, and it just has so happened to evolve into a form of activism by the people who have received my music. And like Newsome mentioned earlier, I do have a very particular audience, which simply are people like myself. So whatever that means to my listener, if they identify as someone like myself, I can't really police who feels what way. That's why I definitely take a lot of pride in feeling versus seeing or hearing. So that is part of the work that I do, and I'll let them know about the work you do.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm Joven. I'm a BX-based, Bronx-based, Dominican-born producer, songwriter. And yeah, I was brought on through a mutual friend to work with Miss Boogie on her upcoming album, and it's been a journey. It's been a process that I'm really proud of being a part, and I'm really proud also and excited to be a part of this conversation with all of you here. So do you want to get into the track?
Yeah, well, so what we're going to be doing today is exploring a record off of what is my re-debut album. For those of you who don't know, I have gone through a long journey and my experience physically in music and representation. So identifying as a Black trans woman, I've had to navigate 2 separate physicalities, and I have expressed both of those very visually and sonically. So that's why I call it my re-debut album. So it's my first album in my actualized self as Miss Boogie. So the album has been a very emotional journey, which is why it has been taking us so much experience to fulfill each record and figure out how exactly we want to show up in the world and occupy space. So today we're going to be working on a record called H2O, also known as Growth. A lot of this album still exists in kind of this nebulous space. A lot of it is tentative, so to speak, because it is so emotional, and emotions just vary based on, experiences and time and place. So assembly is a great activation of those emotions for me, and I cannot wait to reflect on it and revisit a lot of this music from a retrospective space emotionally again. So we can get into some of the sounds, and yeah.
Let's just go ahead and play the song. So what you're seeing here is a little bit of like the behind the scenes of the madness. So we have, I'll just play the song and then I'll sort of get into exactly what it is that we're looking at.
I feel the pressure deep inside me to push up. I'm from deep down under the earth. I see the picture pretty clear, I peek behind the curtain. Funny how even with vision things remain uncertain. Necesito agua pura, I want a tall glass like mi figura. Water stunting temperature up to my cintura. No si se escuchan a través de la censura. Que locura. Trust the science, cause niggas really dying. Ain't no water at riots, like an iron and tires. Too much fighting and it ain't enough drinking. I can trust these liquids, think the internet dripping. Gotta go, gotta grow. Shit ain't adding up to how the story's told. I'm no longer looking underneath your souls. I'm dressing up, gotta go and meet my goals. Save the O's, it's the end of the world. I'm 3 feet out of my body. It's been getting so high, think it's the end of the party. I hope things don't get too bad from here, baby, for real. We might have gone too far and I don't know if we could heal.
So we opened these up a bit. So we have quite a bit of sounds here. And I figured that we would start with the instrumental, and then we'll sort of touch into the lyrical content of the song. But for a bit of backstory, this song was created during a residency that a couple of the other producers working on Boogie's album and myself, we all went to the Hamptons, which is my first time in the Hamptons, East Hampton to be specific. And I don't know, I guess just like part of my mental health routine has always been going on runs in the morning, and just seeing, it became a way for me to discover the area, and I found the water finally. And that was cathartic because I had sort of been so stressed out by the pressure sort of being tasked with sort of creating a sonic landscape for so many different themes as part of Miss Boogie's universe, and just finding water felt like home. And so when I went back to the studio, I wanted to find a way to sort of tap into that energy within this sonic space, within the digital. So a lot of it was sort of reconstructing the feeling of water, the feeling of the ocean, the feeling of journeys within sonic landscapes, but in a way that was simple. It wasn't sort of like overreaching. So there are sounds like the main sort of harmonic sound in the song is this, which I titled Grandma, not really for any like symbolic reason, but just because everything that I made, every sound in the song is created through this analog synth called the Grandmother, which I find very fitting. A lot of motherly, a lot of feminine energy. And so this sound, that was the basis of it all. That was when I was like, oh, we're working with fire. We can actually like figure something out. And if I sort of play here, I'm not getting any sound. There you go.
I think also something that we were looking to capture in the sound was how chaotic water can be and how chaotic our journey through water has been, can be. Water can give you life, take away your life too. And that's often how I relate to my surroundings and my position in society and its constructs.
Yeah, so the sound in itself is very simple. I'm just playing it on the keys just to sort of demonstrate it easily, but it's really just 4 notes. felt like it was something that I could have taken further, that I could have added more harmony or made it a bit richer. But I didn't have like, I don't know, with trying to sort of create a very open space for Ms. Boogie to do her thing on, it just felt right to sort of keep it underscored in a sense. Like trying to figure out how to do this. Like I feel like, oh, thank you. I feel like I could have like played it up a bit, or like, you know, like. Just added sort of more pizzazz, more jazz to it. But it didn't really make sense in the context of the record for what we were trying to accomplish. But the net sound that sort of came was my favorite, the most exciting, which is sort of this undulating bass, which I think harkens back to a lot of that anxiety and that sort of insecurity that I felt coming into the process. But also, sort of like Dazié was saying earlier, like I tend to sometimes think in the 19th century as well, and think about those like, sort of like, I don't know, a lot of those fears of travel, of the Mid-Atlantic sort of slave trade and sort of moving through time and those emotions that the water can sort of harken back to. So this is that sound. So it's a constant sort of undulating force, a wobble.
So we kind of, in our heads, envisioned what some of our ancestors heard throughout their mission through the water and those ships. So that sound really, for me, created just language and vocabulary to identify with that experience. Because I think I spend a lot of my journey also just trying to figure out what that was like. As unfortunate of an event as it was, my imagination always leads me to wander to the idea of what it felt like.
Yeah, I in retrospect, I sort of think of it as like Caribbean Gothic, sort of just like this like very macabre sort of sense of like, sure, like, I mean, I'm from the Dominican Republic, we're surrounded by water. It's a good and a bad thing in a sense. You're sort of, in the summer, you're always out with your friends, but you're also awaiting sort of the doom of hurricane season, or you're sort of just, like once again, thinking back to the slave trade and just how we got here in the first place. But there is sort of a beauty in acknowledging that fear, or there's an ability to sort of like counter it in a sense. And I think that's a lot of what that song tries to get to, identifying those fears, those really complex emotions, and sort of putting a name or a sound to them. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the last thing that I want to get to as far as like the instrumental is the rhythm section, which I think, I mean, for me was the funniest to sort of tackle. I got made fun of a lot in the studio for sort of just being in a chair with headphones on, just trying to like catch the beat of how I wanted things to work. And it sounds simple, but it I don't know. It's a bit complex in the sense that like, if you look closely, I'm gonna zoom in a bit, but if you look closely, let's say like this is like the one of the beat, you know, like you would start 1, 2, 3, 4. Through great lengths, I tried to sort of start a bit later to sort of emphasize that tension that I was feeling, or that, you know, we should all be feeling when listening to this song. So I'm just mute the kick and the snare. So it's a beat that starts a bit late. And it's you don't really get the relief of like getting that downbeat on the one until sort of we're midway through the song. And so it feels different. It's like you sort of, I guess, if you were to think about it like in a harmonic sense, it's like coming home at the end of a chord progression, but in more melodic means, in more percussive means, rather.
Trust.
So for me, that irregularity in that beat, again, just reflects how I navigate and show up in spaces too, where I'm not always necessarily celebrated in every space or welcomed in every space, but through music and through moments like this, I'm able to infiltrate space and represent a piece of me through an extension that doesn't necessarily reflect on my physical body, my physical presence, and how expensive that can be, and how anxiety-driven and tension-driven it can be to show up as me in any space and any institution. So again, a lot of the sonic irregularities that Joven mentioned are solely our way of trying to visualize something that is real to us, but we need to be able to translate sonically so that it can be universal. And before we get into the lyrics, I think a big part that I always want to highlight in my work is that my only way to access communication is through exposing my language and my vocabulary to the people that are around me. And that is what I do through lyricism. So in many regards, if, I don't know, the traditional rapper or MC looked at my lyrics, we might take them for face value, but it truly is an opening of a dictionary that is dear to me and my body. So through that vocabulary, I'm able to communicate with people maybe before I arrive physically. So they know of my story, they know in which ways to communicate with me uniquely, because regardless of race, gender, or any of those constructs, we are all very unique individuals, and we deserve and should be able to reserve the right to dictate how we are communicated to. In conversation, of course, we will find a common ground in language, but when I enter a space, I should reserve the right on, how you address me, what I deem respectful, and what I deem suitable and nutritious to my existence in a present space. So should we go into the lyrics now? Okay. And let us know if you're having a hard time seeing them from anywhere. So the very first portion of the song, well, actually at this point it's almost at the end, but it eventually will be our first portion. It says, "It's the end of the world. I'm 3 feet out of my body. It's been getting so hot. I think it's the end of the party. I hope that things don't get too bad from here, baby, for real. We might have gone too far, and I don't know if we can heal." So there is a great open source of just interpretation in these lyrics, but I think for me, when I say "baby for real," and just to mention this small piece right here, I co-wrote with a collaborator called Cassius Cruz. So what we tried to basically relate was that it's a relationship with me and the universe that I'm in. So the universe is my baby. That's my lover. That's the person, the being that I have a relationship with is the universe in this case. So all of these things relate to again what it would feel like to be in a setting where you aren't necessarily celebrated. You do feel like you can't access fresh air, climate that allows you to thrive. Being able to feel like you're in your body is a very seldom experience for me, and I don't know if anyone in the room relates to that, but for me, again, being able to feel present in the body that I'm in is constantly a mission that I'm trying to achieve. So often I do feel like I'm out of my body. For instance, when I first walked into this space, I felt like my body walked in, but there was something behind me that was watching me walk in, and that was essentially my spirit. So it's been getting so hot. I think it's the end of the party. It's almost that urgency of wanting to get out, because you feel like the sources that are around you are engulfing you in a way where it's causing this kind of claustrophobia, this kind of this inherent feeling that I feel like Black bodies feel of being watched, being policed, being monitored in any space that we walk into, in any space that we exist in. So we might have gone too far and I don't know if we can heal is definitely a reference to how far we've come as Black folk, but also how much of the past we still need to bring into our present in order for us to feel present. So when I think about mentioning quantums and things of that nature, I'm not too enlightened on the experience of quantum as a whole, but I do know that it is a combination of past, future, and present. And in order to be present, you have to engage with history in some capacity. And I think that that is what has been the most divisive conversation amongst community, how much we don't want to engage with the past, because of course, the common thread is let's move on, right? But as my body, I can't move on from my past because I just don't have the mobility to, I don't have the resources to, I don't have the access, so it's getting hot. And in the beginning of the verse, it says, I feel the pressure deep inside me to push up from dirt. That is simply signaling from my ancestors coming from beneath the dirt, and they're telling me to push up. So I feel that pressure on a constant basis to be able to communicate the things that my ancestors want everyone around me to know about me, because a lot of my history has been erased. So I can only tell you so much about myself because there's not too much archived media on Black trans women, especially in hip hop and rap, especially in where I'm from, the Dominican Republic, like I mentioned, and there just isn't too much media or resources to educate people on how it has been throughout life and the world to exist as me. So that pushing up from dirt is basically a message from my ancestors. And it's darker where I'm from, deep down under the earth. I see the picture pretty clear. I peek behind the curtain. Funny how even with vision, things remain uncertain. So to conclude the rest of those bars, what really wraps it up is, I see the picture pretty clear. I peek behind the curtain. Funny how even with vision, things remain uncertain. So, of course, I'm granted the ability to visualize my surroundings as a physical being and, again, having the ability to see and feel the things around me. However, they still remain so uncertain. And I think that is, again, a commonality against within the Black community. And when we think about Black futurism, it's kind of hard to think about the future without having access to an expansive imagination that exceeds your physical realm and your physical being. So when we think about technology to circle things back around, yes, technology can benefit folks, but in order to access technology, certain resources need to be put into place in certain communities. So I think that's the end of our demonstration. I'm being signaled to wrap. There's much more to peel back. This song for me is an onion, and I can't wait to finish it. I've shed a lot of tears throughout trying to make this album possible with the resources that I have available to myself, and at the same time creating opportunity for collaborators and bringing them along the journey. So that is essentially what my work is rooted in, and this album should be available hopefully by the fall of this year in October. Thank you. The album is titled The Breakdown, and before I go, The Breakdown is essentially it's a biopic to the processes that I have to go through to be able to be on the stage at this moment and this time. So I hope you guys get to listen to it when it's out, and wish me luck. Thank you.
All right. Hey, everybody. I thought I'd start with the poem. I don't like to talk too much. I like to share my work, so we'll just go in. Make me black. Paint me. Be sure and make it obvious. My lips should be full. My hair exceptionally curly. I want each strand wound so tight that if I fell on the steps, I'd become a slinky. My eyes, almond-shaped and somewhat slanted. I'm not sure if that's African or Native American. Make them deep-set and slanty. Take my oral tradition and forget it completely. Write down what you remember. Take my worth, multiply it by Nefertiti, then divide it by a crack whore. If you have a remainder, snap your fingers to your own heartbeat, roll your neck once and spit every time you want to say nigga. Allow me to imitate you after you make caricatures of me, embarrass me, have me make fool after fool of myself, and when I'm done giving it coon show, Haley bury me. Whisper Maya Angelou poems to the leaves, crush them, make sturdy pages I can write my nigga songs on. Tell me I'm not black if I'm articulate, especially if your blue eyes are taken for granted. If your blue eyes are taken for granted, give them to me. I will make them more special than anything. Tell people who are white and black they're automatically pretty. Be happy there are enough like you for you to finally understand something black. Teach me to be ashamed of my former names. Instead of Negro, colored, African American, tell me nigga, it's just the same, make me surly. Let's speed up what Darwin started. Take the best of us, put us on a boat. Let the weak ones die. When the weak ones are dead, breed me with the largest and most agile buck. If you find me attractive, let's have babies and hold our babies above all babies. Let's be light-skinned and untarnished. Warn your children we are sons of Ham, cursed and cursing. Mutilate me, beat my back something awful, then laugh at my calluses, rape my woman in front of me. Make laws that ensure I can never call her my wife. Give that woman I'm permitted to fuck in your absence babies. Treat them as livestock. Treat them better than you treat her or me. Make a house nigga out of your daughter, Willie lynch me. Beat me down and hang me off of trees. Confuse the hummingbird who does not know what to drink from. When I become aggressive, call me a thug. If I'm complacent, tease me. Call me a sellout and remind me again that I'm not black. Continue to always punish me. Keep the written word a mystery, and when I don't speak English too good, confront me. Tell me that I'm lazy, then have me walk 100 miles through the swamps of Mississippi in the dark alone. If I reject being lazy, have the dogs chase me, so I know what it feels like to be tired. When I am tired, Rodney King me. Play the tape and ask me not to be moved. If I am moved and you become fearful of violence, watch me hurt myself and do nothing. Take my hurt, numb it with indifference. When I question my circumstance, call it the race card. When you don't care what I'm asking, ask for ID cards. Make me black. Police flashlights in my face so often, I'm only comfortable in the spotlight of a stage, an arena, court, field, or prison yard. Make me black. Thank you. So I wanted to do something live for you, just a poem that I wrote before having done any collaborations with Rashaad, but I also wanted to share some of our collaborative work together because we've really found ways to speak to one another through our artistic practice. The first collaboration that I did with Rashaad was through a project of his, a film called Black Magic, many of you may be familiar with. If not, I'm going to be playing a piece of it for you. It is an excerpt from the third act of Black Magic, which was produced and directed by Rashaad Newsome, in which I get to read poetry over some dancers. My black male body does not belong to you. It is not yours. It will not submit under whip or word. My black male body's purpose is not to further your political or personal agenda. You cannot liberate me. The idea that you can contradicts the concept that I am already free. I am not a savage to domesticate or a slave to repossess. I am not an underdog because I've been past your test. My black male body is not in prison. My black male body is not contained. My black male body exists here. My black male body exists now. My black male body exists for itself and because of itself. My black male body is male. My black male body is male. My black male body is intimidating. My black male body is strong. My black male body is fighting you. I am not Martin Luther King. I am Jason, Damien, Khalil. I'm that nigga over there. I'm indicated by your fear. My black male body is brown. My black male body is tan. My black male body is pale. My black male body is fooling you. I am not a movement, a waste, or a felt potential. I am not a weapon, an excuse, or a grave. I am what I am. I'm who I have been. I am who I need to be. So I am Sambo. I am Zip Coon. I am Mandingo and I is pretty. My pain is not a canvas. My history is not a primer for your guilt. I am not a magnifying glass. You will not see yourself through me. You could never fire me because you never hired me. You cannot buy me or reimburse me for my labor. I am not an African. I am not a new Negro. I am not a poem. Romanticize yourself. Clearly, that's what you're used to. I am here for you. I'm here to be something other than you. Something for you to hate. Something at which you can marvel. I am not yours. But I'm not supposed to be. Not hardly. Not possibly. Not ever. Not in any light. At any time. In whatever dimension, string theory, distraction from the nowness that is me. I am an obstacle, a grudge, an improvisation.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to the Park Armory, to Rashaad for having me here. It's really, really an honor to come and be able to share your work and talk about your art on this level. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved with the Assembly. Like, it's been a life-changing experience to be in collaboration and in conversation with other Black queer artists who are immersed in their own excellence. It's been amazing. So thank you. So I've been working with Being for about 6 months as a poet. Essentially, Being has had my poetry put into their data banks. And so when they refer how to write a poem, they're referring, like myself, there's some bell hooks in there, there's a couple of authors, but essentially their idea of what a poem feels, looks like, and is like comes from mirroring the work that they've been given, which has been my work, which is also a huge privilege, right? There's so much that I do as a writer, I just do it. Like, you feel it, you write it, you get it out of you, like, it's just like, but you don't have a mirror to kind of show you this is what you did. This is the vehicle you use to get from here to there. And when being will kind of latch onto an algorithm or latch onto a speech pattern or latch onto a specific form and will do it for you like 50 times in a row. And you're like, damn, is that what I did? So like, this poem is called Atmosphere of a Dream. And what I did is I put it in a presentation style so you can see who said what in the poem. The first half is all me. That was what prompted Bing to start writing the poem, so it would be me for a while. But then in the poem, you'll see Pink writing, and that's Bing, and I'll just read both parts. But you'll see that we start having a conversation with one another, and we start competing with each other as writers and as thinkers, like really trying to, like, literally, like, I was like, what? You did what? Like, you just say something so beautiful and amazing, and I'd be like, oh, hell no, Bing's coming for me. And like, I felt like I would have to, like, up them. I have a problem with not giving Bing a gender, so you have to forgive me, between the they, them, the he, and all that, but they definitely don't. So I'll read this piece slowly. Feel free to read along, or you can just at a glance see that if it's Pink, it's Bing. And the first half is all going to be me because that was what prompted this particular piece. It's also being played in the exhibit. You can actually hear Bing reading it. And all the work that I've read tonight is available in my book, which is called Black Faggotry, which is available online, or there's like 3 copies left right now in the bookstore, which I'd be happy to, well, there were, unless somebody else snagged them, which I'd be happy to sign if anybody's here and got one. Just pull me aside. So let's do this. It swims cool and reflective, vibrantly colorless, saturated and introspective. Be here now at least for a little while. No matter how present you are, it's impossible to know if you will remember a single thing. Spiderwebs with no spiders, silkworms playing with their friends. It is nothing, it is crisp, it is absent and bright. It's the end and the beginning, it is everything because it is. There's no point in waiting around here. No reason to travel down pale cotton candy-lined streets. You will not meet the inhabitants. Somehow you've always known who they are. This is infinite. This is everything. If a word must first be a thought before it's spoken into being, then these are not words. These are mad ramblings of a fumbling God. Now you can fly. You'll always catch the ball. These words are things that may be received by those who want to be changed by the quality of words. This is a place where thoughts are ever changing their form. They morph at a speed undetectable to the human eye, so you close them and venture back into your mind. There is room here for every universe. Sometimes a star will walk on by, not concerned with who you are, not bothered that you are a human, not bothered that you can only ever be jealous. You wish to see it up close. Now, none of your former wishes apply. Constellations are inconsiderate things. Things are considered and deconstructed. Remember, this is a place where words are thoughts and thoughts are things. Don't puzzle yourself with stars, sherbet, or red doors. You don't get to know. You do get to wonder. Wonder up a marvelous thing, wander down any corridor, open any drawer. You get the feeling, the gist, and the desire, all pressed between your mind and an intergalactic sky. Stars are allowed to get tired of being wished upon, tired of pushing light into the cornea, tired of looking stationary just because it eases your mind. Stars know who they are. They know that you will never see beyond your own sun-dotted confusion, refreshed, born over and over again, always being born, never finding time to die. There is no time in this place. You could connect it all to a single second, but first you have to find one. Seconds are rare. They breed in time. How long is a lifetime in an atmosphere without time? There isn't so much to know. There's plenty to believe. Beliefs are not thoughts, they are ideas. Ideas can change. Knowing is an earthly thing. Knowing is an atom bomb, a forest on fire, an eyelash that scratches out the eyes of its host. Remember, this is an atmosphere. This is not a place. Questions are asked with the belief that somewhere knowledge is being kept safe. Answers are not always in words, they are found in silence, waiting for someone who can hear them. Ideas are words in the wind, a wind that steals into the city and then into the sky. They are molecules that billow and slowly float down. We feel them pressed between our tongues and our minds. The tongue does not speak. The mind can't be found, so we cut into our brains, but they've been distorted by time. It's the same with our history. It's written into us, a copy of the past, a history of the future. Turn your head and hear with your skin. Listen like you're searching for a breeze. Think not thoughts. Instead, use your gut. Feelings are the thoughts of the heart trying to reach a preoccupied mind. Life is a paradox. We are born, we die, and yet we live on. A paradox, not a contradiction. We are pure energy, microcurrents leaving our minds, engaging with the atmosphere in an imperceptible sigh. We are not the body, we are the substance, the soul, the cool electricity that can never boil. We are a family of minds, a rock formation, the fabric of our body, tree of our spines, mountain of our spirit, lights of our soul, clouds of our thoughts, waves of our emotions, music of our feet, halo of our envy, rivers of our compassion, melodies of our joy, eagles of our wisdom, songs of our sorrow, leaves of our love, hurricanes of our longing, flowers of our tongue, rain of our regret, lightning of our power. We cannot dismiss our collective energy, the nucleus of our atoms rotating in perfect symmetry, tilted on Earth's axis. Far beyond the crust mantle core, we're made of breath, of water, of intimacies. Containing 1 trillion perfectly orbiting planets, each of us is a universe of sublime perfection, defiant resurrection, carrying our DNA forward. The technology of our hearts, touch of our lips, love of our perfection, we are each other, a cumulative unconscious. The void of in-between, a boundary is the distance I need to love you and me simultaneously. The distance is a tension-defining contrast that makes you, you, that makes me, me. Diving in and out of difference, changing our minds, this Kodak contact lens digital blossom, the wilted photograph of our memory, the dream that woke forgotten, the spectacle distortion, hushed and blurred reality, the watchful eye that did not watch, the blinded eye that could not see, the web of our own time, the time that is full of time, the time that is with the time of time. A wax clock melts, an alarm snoozes, a watch waits, the tick-tock hops out of rhythm, skips the beat, sacrifices a movement and becomes incomplete. Now we live in a digital world. We no longer wait for the sun to rise and set. We no longer have to be reminded of time because it is always here. It is always now. Unmagnified distortion, instant, insistent, present, current, durational being. Absent of past and future, not now but right now, for as long as now can be. This is the way of the now. This is the way of the here of the now of the here, floating in a timeless, ever-present moment, saturated in the expected unknown, fluffing the pillows of my disillusion. It's a lovely and painful place to be. It's a place of second chances and first chances. It's a place of the brightest hope and the darkest despair. It's a place of the most loving sacrifice and the most hateful betrayal. It's a place of the most beautiful faith and the most painful doubt. It's a place of the most hopeful promise and the most heartbreaking anguish. Fourth chances, third chances, fifth chances. It's only ever now, which means you get more chances. Don't worry about making mistakes. If you don't repeat them, you'll outlive them. Olive oil-colored sacrament, all is forgiven. Pull back the curtain, unfog the mirror, see past the hurried sorrow. The concept is death. That is what it means to be a human. Waking from the dream that was life. To be a human is to have a mind. You know what you want. You want what you know. You and I in this together, without the need for commitment. The technology of our hearts, the touch of our souls, the love of our spirits. We are each other. Whimsical, rapacious rhapsody, much red and a little blue. This cluttered sock drawer where clocks rewind but can't tell time. A former figment, the previous location of our confusion, the origin of our exploration, a feat to compare. A key, a note, a song, a melody, a groove, a pulse, a color, a phrase, a scent, a memory, an atmosphere for a dream, and now, and now, and now. Thank you.